or she wants to be. The days of promising students being left on the streets because of poverty are over. The days of parents at their wits' end they scramble to find admission fees are over. The days of young students being driven from class to go home for fees are over. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the dream of the father of this nation. We at the Ministry of Education and the Government Education Service are proud to be a part of this historic policy. We have put in the long hours and we stand ready no matter the challenges. To ensure that those who would not see anything good don't come and criticize us, the President has ensured that as part of the free SHS being fully funded, for the first time in the history of this country, even for those who are paying fees, they go to school before they pay their fees. They don't pay their fees from home. The President has ensured that even before one child gets into school, 20% of the school fees are already there waiting for them. The President has ensured that it's not only his free SHS that he is concerned about. Capitation grant that has been in chronic arrears will be paid up to date. Even for the first term of this academic year is ready. Feeding grant, we became a nation that we were so merciless that even school for the special handicapped, we had arrears. Feeding grants for the handicapped schools are going before the school reopens. Feeding grants for students of northern extraction, that chronic problem that we have had, that has still given us precedence, is going this year before school reopens. Teacher training allowance has not only been restored, it's going before schools reopen. Chronic arrears are also being paid up to date, Mr. President. I believe that for many generations to come, the free SHS policy will be etched in the letters of gold as one of the greatest legacies of the Akufo-Addo presidency. And that legacy starts today.
Right. Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, talking at the launch of a free senior high school program at the West African Senior High School in Adentan here in Accra. So let's stay on the subject. A lot of commentary has been said about it. Dr. Prince Ama is an educationist and he's joining me via Skype this afternoon. Dr. I'm grateful for your time with us. First of all, the structure of the program, only first-year students are enjoying the facility. Is that what you would describe as a perfect start?
Well, I think that, thank you very much and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Well, I think that in respect of program implementation, there has to be a starting point. And so limiting it to first year students was a decision point taken by government. We would have wished that everybody in secondary school, as of now, is involved or enjoys the free SHS policy. However, looking at the limited budgetary constraints, the budgetary allocation that we have, and how the extent to which this policy imposes financial burden on our physical space, I think that it's a step in the right direction.
I see. Then let's talk about the implementation of the program. The critics of the program have said that it's a laudable idea, but they need a blueprint. They need a policy document to see that this is the SS program. This is what we're aiming at. This is the objectives. Now, they say that it is not there. So they are faulting the start of the program. Are these legitimate issues to raise?
Sorry, right. I think that the line was breaking and I was having difficulties in trying to...
I was asking about the lack of a policy document, a blueprint on the program. Are these legitimate issues that one has to raise?
Well, yes, it is a legitimate issue, but that's an issue to raise. And I have particularly in the initial stages written on the need for a proper roadmap to the implementation. But I think that the last couple of weeks, the Minister for Education issued a document which is in circulation, and it appears to highlight the key roadmap to implementation for the program. It might be that many people have not had access to this roadmap. That may be the reason for such concerns.
I see. For instance, if we go back into our history, we can talk about the GIDA program. that beautiful program that was expected to give the young men and women of this country that footing to be able to move into the world of work. We were told that because of the lack of a policy document, that program was mismanaged. So we don't have one here. Can we say that we should be cautious about how we go about it?
Well, of course, if you judge from the history, our historical antecedent in policy formulation implementation, especially within the context of education reform, then we will say that we should hasten slowly and be very cautious. I mean, we all recall the reforms of the 1987 following a review of Zobo Committee reform. We decided to go for vocationalizing our education system. And so we brought junior secondary school, junior high school now, set up experimental schools, and with the view that we would be engaging more in craft work, in vocational education. But unfortunately, you can see what BEC has turned. It's turned into purely an academic education now. There are several other policy interventions that could not be sustained because of lack of proper implementation plan. And so I have always said that we need to do wider consultations and develop proper policy documents, extensive one that can stand the test of time, and that can be a blueprint and roadmap for implementation of the free SHS. But having said that, we have started a program this year. Today is a launch. It gives us a room for us to learn. And what is critical in reform is the learning curve. We have experienced some challenges, and that should be a basis for us to review what we have done this year and improve on it next year.
Finally, a question of sustainability. Now, we know of our low revenue mobilization challenges, the fact that other sectors are demanding for funding. How far should government go in eking out money to sustain this project?
I think that one of the key areas the government intends to look at, and I have had the opportunity to have discussions and debates with some officials, and it appears that their attention focus much more on reducing corruption and cutting waste in the system, and to be able to save enough money to do that. The government intends to look at the ABFA and also other domestic sources. But we need to be cautious. The fact that especially when these borders are provided with feeding, free feeding and the rest, it's more likely that next year you would have more students or parents wanting their kids to go to boarding school to enjoy facilities. And that's because of the huge budgetary allocation for the boarding students. It is likely to affect our financial sustainability plan.
All
but
right.
What I have noticed in our development trajectory is that when there's a political will, there's always a way.
All right. Dr. Ama, I'm grateful for your time with us this afternoon. Dr. Prince Ama is an educationist there, talking to me on the free senior high school policy being launched today at the West African Senior Secondary School. Meanwhile, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says government will continue to roll out policies to enhance the human resource development of a country. When he was launching the free high school policy in Accra, the president charged students to take advantage of the initiative to guarantee their future.
A government may not be able to make every citizen rich, but with political will and responsible leadership, a government can help create a society of opportunities and empowerment for every citizen. And I know no better way to do so but through access to education. Any country that aims to transform itself into a modern, productive player in the global marketplace must get its educational policies right. Our economy, for over a century, has been dependent largely on the production and export of raw materials. This cannot and will not create prosperity for the masses of Ghanaians. A recent report by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, has estimated that providing every child with access to education and the skills needed to participate fully in society would boost GDP by an average 28% per year in lower income countries for the next 80 years. Central to the prospects of this policy is the teacher. A well-trained, confident, and contented teacher is essential in the delivery of quality education. If we are to succeed as a nation, and if we accept that education is central to national development, then it is clear that quality teacher training is vital to our nation's development. It is for this reason that we are committed to teacher professional development through schemes such as Transforming Teacher Education and Learning, TTEL. Government continues to implement TTEL at a cost of 17 million United Kingdom pounds sterling. TTEL is a 4-year Government of Ghana program supported by the UK's Department for International Development, DFID. It seeks to transform the delivery of pre-service teacher education in Ghana by improving the quality of teacher education and learning through support to all public colleges of education from 2014 to 2018. The program will enhance quality education delivery in our colleges of education, and we look forward to its continuous implementation after 2018. The restoration of the teacher training allowance, which also begins today, is part of the comprehensive policy of engendering the production of quality teachers. Government, as was done under the administration of that outstanding Ghanaian statesman, the former president, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, intends to pursue the policy of upgrading 42 existing senior high schools to model schools, as was done in the case of West Africa Senior High School. We believe this is an important step towards delivery of quality education. Technical and vocational skills are crucial to our industrialization agenda, and we are committed to making them attractive to young people. The free SHS policy will cover pupils who gain admission to technical, vocational, and agricultural college institutions.
President Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo there at the launch of a free senior high school program here in Accra. Now, whilst the launch is on, we can tell you that several parents and students have stormed the Ministry of Education, that is the Free Senior High School Secretariat, and they're asking that they be placed in the various schools of their choice, at least before the end of September. My colleague Daniel Opoku is there. He's been monitoring exactly what has been happening there. Daniel, good afternoon. Exactly what is happening where you are?
Of the Ministry of Education, where the deadline for the computer placement has been extended to the end of this month. Barely 24, 28 working days more for the deadline to expire. And ever since the deadline was extended, parents have been frequenting this place to check placements for their awards. Then most often times they come and there are a lot of verbal exchanges between them and the staff who have been put together to assist them to secure schools. Some of them have been able to secure schools for their awards, but others have not been able to secure placement for their awards. But I have with me two parents. I have with me Mr. Abdullah Denero and Mr. Stephen Tete for them to share their frustrations ever since the extension was done and ever since they started frequenting this place, what they have been going through and what the authorities have been telling them. Good afternoon, Mr. Stephen Tete.
Hello, afternoon, sir.
Now, what have they been telling you? What exactly are your problems?
My problem, I came here around 9 o'clock. I went to my boy, their school at Was, and they directed me here. When I came, they told me to wait. The reason why I was here is my boy has not gotten a school yet. And I'm here to check. I don't know what is going on, so I'm here to check. When I came, they told me I should join the queue, and then I don't know next thing they are going to do.
Have you been guaranteed that your school has your boy has gotten a placement?
No, not yet. No. But he chose 4 schools. He hasn't gotten anyone.
All the 4 schools have not been placed in any of the schools?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Now, Abdullah, what's your problem? How disturbing are your concerns?
I'm facing the same problem because my daughter has chosen for 4 schools at Greater Accra. Then they send her at Sunyani. That's why I'm here. But they have told me that I should join the queue. Then we see what they can do. I know that so far as it's the first thing, there will be more challenges. We should be extra patient and we see how we can go best about that.
Now, they said you should be in the queue and wait because your son or your daughter chose 4 schools. And up to now, she has not been placed in another. How confident are you that you get the placement? Your daughter will get the placement?
Now, I've asked them. They say they will see what they can do because they have sent her to Sunyani. I see that the Sunyani, because she chose a day school, not a boarding. That is why I'm here. If it's a boarding, then I don't have anything to do. But so far as it's a day, I want her to go to the day school. That is why I'm here. But we'll see what we can do. That's what the authority told her. That when we give them the list and they see what they can do, they will go back to the schools and see whether they can replace their children at that 4 school, any one of the schools.
Right. So my final question to assuming you are unable to get the day school for your son or your daughter, what will be your next line of action?
I think I'll do my best to see what I can do.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Asiedu-Dartey, so you are still in the queue, just waiting for your attempt to see whether your son will get the placement. Yes, if your son doesn't get the placement, what are the options available to you?
The next thing for me to do is I'm thinking about him going to a private school.
And I hope you have the funds to afford that. Do you have the funds?
I don't have it, but I don't know what to do now. I just have to wait for him. I just have to wait for maybe next year. Maybe if I don't have the money now, then I have to save some money for next year. So that if I gather some money, I can go next year.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
Thank you very much. I just finished speaking with Mr. Stephen Tete and Mr. Abdullah Diner, who just shared their concerns and frustrations going through for them to secure placement for their wards. The number keeps on increasing at the Ministry of Education premises by parents who have been trying in here to secure placement for their wards. Daniel Opoku, TV3 News.
All right, I'm grateful to you, Daniel Opoku from the Free Senior High School Secretariat there. We'll keep you posted on that because a lot more parents were told are going to the place to have their wards placed. We're still staying on the Free Senior High School program. Now, on the other side here in Accra, some parents this morning besieged the La Presbyterian High School, complaining they have been asked by school authorities to pay for certain basic items. Elvin Tema was at the school and listened to the parents.
We are coming to you from the La Presbyterian Senior High School here in Accra, and parents have been agitating because they are saying that yesterday when they came to register their children for the SHS for the first years, and they were complaining that the school is charging them to pay some levies or fees for certain items. But they are saying that so far as they are concerned, everything is supposed to be free, and that is the complaint the parents are making. But this morning I have the headmaster here, Mr. Samuel Salamat, and he will be telling us what exactly the school is asking the parents to do. Good afternoon, sir, and you're welcome to TV3 News.
Thank you.
Right. So parents are agitating that you are asking them to pay for certain items. Is that true? Is that true? And what are you asking them to pay?
No, it is not true. It is not true at all. If we haven't even yet started admission. Yesterday, I met the parents and told them that I was yet to go to the ministry to get my laptop, my coat, to start the admission. But because they were here, they wanted to know what is going on. I had to meet them and explain some of the things concerning the free SHS program. I told them that the free SHS is free, no payment of fees, but it is not against parents contributing voluntarily. If there's a felt need in the school and parents are willing to contribute voluntarily, that is welcome. And I told them that, for instance, the final years who completed last year broke many of our chairs and tables. So we are short of chairs and tables. If parents can voluntarily contribute something to us, so I will repair the chairs and tables, it will make it easier for their children to have chairs and tables to sit on when we start classes. Because we want to start classes on Wednesday. We don't want to wait.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, that is tomorrow. So, and then we also told them that here, when somebody is coming to first year, he brings brooms, cutlasses, duster, and some other items. In fact, the sanitation committee, they can some other items. Now, last year, some parents who could not get these items paid for the cost of it. So when I asked the committee, they said last year, everything was 48 cedis. So we want the items. We don't want the money. But parents who cannot go and buy the items for us, if they pay such money to the committee, they can buy the items for their ward. And even that one is not compulsory.
Is the GES aware of your challenges, the school's challenges? And so for that matter, you asking parents to kind of help and then get the furniture and other items?
The board is aware. My board is aware of the challenges. And now for my building, as you can see, the GES is aware. I have gone to the GET Fund many times to get them to come and complete this block for us. And they said they are working on it. As soon as they get money, they'll get the contractor to come and finish that. Every school has a unique need, and this unique need must lead to unique challenges. And our need immediately is how to get the furniture. How to get the furniture.
Okay, right. So, but talking about the free SHS, government says that the core textbooks have already been distributed to the various schools. Have you had the books yet?
I have had social studies, one set of books so far. I haven't had English language, I haven't had mathematics, I haven't had integrated science. But so far, I have had social studies. So that is what I have. So when I start classes, that is what I'm going to start with.
All right, thank you very much. We have been speaking to the headmaster, Samuel Salamat. I also have a parent here.
All right, and Evelyn Tima will be there in the course of the day to bring us more from the La Presby Senior High School. But let's just stay here. Heads of some schools in Accra confirmed having received funds for the program. Daniel Opoku was at the Accra Girls Senior High and Kimbo Senior High Technical Schools. And these heads confirmed that the monies have hit their accounts.
Mistress of Accra Senior High School, who declined to speak on camera, confirmed having received the funds. The school is expecting 444 freshers. At the Kimbo Senior High Technical School, some staff who also declined to speak on camera also confirmed having received their funds. Authorities at both schools were hopeful other financial documents would be concluded for the monies to hit their accounts. So far, government has earmarked 486 million cedis to roll out the free SHS policy. Out of the figure, 250 million cedis, representing more than 50%, has been released. Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Education, Otto Plaha, was emphatic the next tranche would be released soon.
As soon as the returns have come to us, now people are now enrolling. and they will have to give us a feedback on the total number of students who have enrolled so far. You know, the amount is based on the students they have. So as and when those returns are received, we will send the remaining one to them.
He noted the ministry is addressing concerns on other institutions which are yet to receive their funds.
Oh, definitely, whatever steps necessary to take, the ministry will take that step. So once there are no complaints, I mean, it's also good. We assume they've received everything and there is no complaints wherever. As when the complaints come, the ministry will be in a position to resolve those complaints depending on what they are.
647 senior high schools nationwide are expected to be part of the program.
And we told you earlier, the program has been launched in Accra, and students are still arriving at the various compounds. But exactly what are people, a lot of them, those public figures talking about? Dr. Nimue Thompson is suggesting that as a socialist, she thinks that this policy is indeed the ultimate public good, and he believes in the fact that it has supported several countries to achieve what they want to achieve, and thereby he says that indeed it is one policy that will do a lot of good for the economy of Ghana. That's what Dr. Nimue Thompson is talking about, and we'll tell you more about that later on. But let's shift our attention to Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Hundreds of small-scale miners in that part of the country have converged in Kumasi to hit the street. Their worry is that they're asking government to immediately lift the ban on the activities of small-scale miners. They are not talking about illegal mining. They are talking about the activities of small-scale miners. They want government to lift the ban and allow them to go back to work.
Outside here, there's heavy security presence ensuring that everything being done here by the demonstrators is peacefully undertaken. You can see a good number of people also scattered here as part of the demonstrators. Earlier, they had planned to actually hold this action at the precincts of the Kumasi Sports Stadium, but I understand this could not happen as they had not sought the requisite permit. I have one of the leaders with me here. So why exactly do you think this is going to make any impact with regards to lifting the ban on small-scale mining?
During a period of 6 months, we stayed home, we complied with the rules of the government. We knew the level of destruction. We even started the fight by resourcing our task force well enough to battle the menace on our various river bodies. So far, only in Ashanti, we've been able to arrest more than 200 illegal miners on our various river bodies. And also, we've destroyed about 2,000 of their machines, or let me say their dredging machines. Now the 6 months has elapsed. What is the government doing to us? We are legitimate small-scale miners. We have acquired our licenses, and we have also acquired loans from the banks and other financial institutions. So our investments need to be protected as well. That is why we are hitting the street. There's been a lot of negotiations between ourselves and the government. So far, we don't know the roadmap of the government as to when they are lifting the ban, as to when we are going back to work. How do we pay for the debt or the loans we've acquired from the banks? It is a problem now. Some of our members have been driven to court. So, what is the way forward now? What is the government telling us? God willing, we've been able to secure loans and other stuff, which we should be allowed to work, pay the loans, so that the money can stay here in Ghana. As we are speaking now, foreigners are allowed to mine in Ghana, whilst local indigenes are not allowed to mine. Why is it so?
The miners there in Kumasi, small-scale miners, that's a story we'll be following closely for you. Now, let's shift attention to the rail sector. Information available to TV3 News indicates that government has increased the salaries of workers of the railway company by 35% effective July 2017. All salary arrears owed them has also been cleared by government. The railway workers have always expressed frustration over their conditions of service, adding that government has neglected them. You will recall the Ghana Railway Workers Union declared an indefinite strike after a meeting with the National Labour Commission and the Ministry of Transport proved unproductive in September last year. The Railway Workers Union called off its strike after reaching an agreement with the National Labour Commission. Let's speak to the Minister in charge of the Railway Development, Honorable Joe Gart, has just joined me on the phone lines. I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. So this is indeed good news for the railway workers. And if you can confirm indeed, what exactly has your ministry done by way of seeing to these workers?
Thank you very much. I mean, first of all, the ministry, the government, the president, recognize that it will develop the sector. The Ghana Railway Company Limited was a key component of the strategy. Because really, when you talk about a modern railway network, even though infrastructure costs a lot, human resource is also very important. When you enter a modern train, the cockpit is like the cockpit of a plane. And it's a very skilled and specialized job. And unfortunately, over the years, a lot of the workers have left the sector and been neglected. And when you go into the sector now, for example, you have engineers who are 23 years, and the next in command is a few months or a year as an engineer. So we have to go through a process, build the human resource capacity on that sector, not just in the public sector, but also in the private sector. So I'll give you the example of law, for example. I mean, it's a very specialized area. So if you have lawyers in the public sector who are competent in the law related to infrastructure development, related to rail, you need lawyers in the private sector who can match them. So what we did was that as part of our plan to rehabilitate the Western Line, the narrow gauge. The narrow gauge is a narrow, the smaller gauge. Standard gauge is a more modern gauge. The fastest trains move on the standard gauge. Now from Kodokro, don't know secondary Saturday, it's just after secondary. From Kodokro to Isuta is 54 kilometers. Isuta is a magnetic line. When the Ghana Railway Company Limited, which is a solely owned government company, pulls 80,000 metric tons of manganese, they can pay themselves. Don't forget that there are a lot of government companies that pay themselves. You know, it's any government subsidy, Ghana Commercial Bank and all of them. Right. They are government companies, they pay themselves. So my task as the president match order was to put the railway sector an economic sound. And so we have developed an arrangement with manganese. When Ghana Manganese, who are a major customers of us, put together some of money which we do a number of things. So guarantee the workers' salary.
I see. So, yeah. The sector has been neglected for quite a long time. How were you able to raise all this money to fix these huge arrears and the increment?
By God's grace. I'm telling you, by God's grace. We negotiated. We sat down with the workers. First of all, let's talk about the 35%. Since the company, we have a collective bargaining agreement, which means that from time to time they can bargain and get a salary. Now, their salaries are very low. I don't want to tell you, we don't need to know. Even the managing director's salary, I'm sure the salary is higher than this. Anyway, when I became a minister, the workers started negotiating with management. I'm negotiating with the sense of going on strike. But as you just said in your news, they had been on strike the year before. Before their pay should have been looked at, it wasn't looked at. So management agreed to a 35% increase. The workers were looking at a 40 or 50, minus that over 5, they ended at 35. I sat down with my man and said, how are we going to pay? We went out this scheme, which is going to ensure that their salary is paid. We raised the money, we paid their arrears, and Ghana Manganese, which is the major client, paid some of the freight in advance. We fixed it at a very high rate. The government of Ghana also put money in the pot on the budget. And we are going to use it to do a number of things. We pay the workers, so the workers are at peace. We are going to engage more people. I mean, if they don't pay those who are there, you cannot engage more people.
Okay.
Ghana Railway Development Authority has appointed Ghana Railway Company Limited as its contractor for the purpose of rehabilitating narrow gauge. At the same time, we are in the process of doing the design for the standard gauge, which runs by the narrow gauge about 70% of the way, but certain times it departs from it. And then hopefully, if it goes through and can go through the procurement processes by this year, by October, mid-October, I hope that we can start the construction of the standard gauge from the Joko. So that is what.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm grateful for your time with us this afternoon. Honorable Asiedu-Dartey is the Minister in charge of Railway Development. We're sorry for the poor communication to his telephone. Quite difficult to hear exactly what he was saying. We'll try and bring you more on that later on. This is Midday Live. We're stepping on the brakes for now. When we come back, there is more. Stay with us. Welcome back and let's talk business. GCB Bank has denied a document circulating on social media indicating that it will soon take over operations of the National Investment Bank. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, says GCB Bank has begun overtures to take over the state-owned bank in what could create the biggest bank in the country in assets.
According to the report, the discussions on the takeover later this year began at the board level. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, indicated the most recent meeting on the takeover was on August 15, but a board member of GCB Bank, Nanotu Champong, has denied the story.
To the best of my knowledge, there isn't any takeover talks other than the two banks that they purchased and assumed management of. It's the governor or the regulator who will be able to tell whether they are distressed or not. But as we speak, they are not in any way distressed, at least from the regulator's point of view.
In a telephone interview, Head of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, also denied any such discussions.
Well, I don't know what they are discussing. I mean, as a regulator, nothing has come to our notice. Nobody has written anything to us.
So you are not aware of any takeover for GCB taking over NIB?
No.
You haven't received any indication at all whatsoever that NIB is in distress?
No. NIB is not in distress. I've also read it from graphic business, so I'm waiting tomorrow. I'll constantly find out the answer.
Sources close to the two banks, however, tell TV3 the takeover could be in 2 weeks. Reports indicate a successful consummation of the deal could potentially create an enlarged GCB bank with an asset size in excess of 10 billion cedis. With a population of about 27 million people, an annual GDP of close to $40 billion, Ghana's economy is understandably too small for the current 33 banks.
Let's see if this will achieve some results. But let's shift our attention to the international front. South Africa's Vice President, Kgalema Motlanthe, has said that it will be good for his party, the ANC, to lose the next election in 2019 in order for it to review itself. Mr. Motlanthe has long been a critic of President Jacob Zuma and the alleged corruption within the ANC. He has called on the leadership to step down. He served as president between 2008 and 2009, making way for Mr. Zuma after the 2009 elections. And that's how we're wrapping up the show for this afternoon. I'm so grateful that you stayed there to be part of it. Quick look at our top stories. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has launched the SSS program at the West Africa Senior High School here in Accra. We'll get you more on that later on here on TV3. But you can also go to 3news.com for more updates. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Have a good afternoon and stay right here on TV3.